Oi oi! And welcome to the Orient Outlook podcast, sponsored by Carol Langley Florist, with myself, Steve Nussbaum. And as always, I'm joined by my good friend, my South Stand chum, the bearded legend, the one and only, the daddy-o. It's Mr. Paul Levy.
Thank you very much indeed. Hello everybody, welcome back. This is episode number 417, and thanks as always to everyone who tuned into last week's show. This week we've got just the one game to review and a quick roundup of what's happened in the last 7 days in case you've missed anything. So let's just crack on with this week's show, and as always we start with a word from our podcast sponsor.
We certainly do. So the pod is sponsored by Carol Langley Florist. They're based in Chingford and have served the borough of Waltham Forest and the surrounding area for over the last 70 years. They've got a fantastic team there. Can do anything you need, from bespoke wedding events, family funeral tributes, birthdays, anniversaries, you name it, they can do it. And they offer all O's fans and staff 15% off. So to get in touch with John and his wonderful team, you can give them a call on 0208 529 4130. You can go online, look at their website. They can be found at www.carollangley.co.uk, or you can go on social media. The team can be found on all the major platforms. They're on Instagram at Carol Langley Florist. They're on Twitter at Carol Langley E4, and they're on Facebook as well, and can be found at Carol Langley Florists.
Quick couple of trips to tell you about that the Supporters Club are running on Tuesday the 27th of January. That's this coming Tuesday as we record this. We are off up to Doncaster. We kick off there at 7:45. Coaches will leave the Supporters Club at 1:30. The adult fare is £42. Concessions are £39, and children are £21. So you need to get the afternoon or off school really for that one. I don't see many kids travelling on that one. And then into February now. It is just round the corner. Saturday the 7th. We're off up to Stockport for a 3:00 kick-off. Coaches will depart at 8:30 and will cost £44 for adults, £42 concessions, and children are £22. Remember, those prices are for coach travel only. They don't include your match day ticket, and you can book for any of these trips by calling 07507 539 579, or when you're in the Supporters Club on a match day, you can book ahead.
Alright, we have an update from the Leighton Orient Trust, who said on Wednesday evening, so this coming Wednesday, the next mental wellbeing group with Richie Wellens will be held in the East Stand Hub. They say on Saturday we will be hosting our first community match day using the EFL's Scan to Smile campaign, which aims to spread positivity and highlight the impact that our work has. This will include hosting a group from George Mitchell Primary School in the Hub who have been taking part in the EFL Joy of Moving programme that we have been delivering. They're going to say we will also be in and around the stadium on Saturday, raising awareness of our work and asking fans to sign up to our friends of and patrons of the Trust donation campaign, as well as asking fans to fundraise on our behalf through participation in marathons and other such endurance activities. So lots going on in the Trust. Thanks to Neil and the team for sending that over. And if you're around the ground on Saturday, go and speak to the Trust. Great group. Do lots of great work for Orient and the community, and we're going to be very important and are very important.
Yeah, indeed. Good work by the Trust there. No AOB this week for you, but just a quick shout out to everyone who's added to the Buy Me a Coffee that we have set up. If you are keen to support an independent producer of content, fan-run content, we don't get any back in from anyone else, so it is our time and effort and money that we put into this to bring this to you every single week. So if you are keen to support us, we'd be very much appreciated. It's buymeacoffee.com/Orient Outlook Pod. And you can do as little or as much as you like, no problem at all. And thanks to everyone who has done so already.
Alright, the week that was down at the O, starting on Happy Monday the 19th of January, as Don Ballard and Theo Archibald were named in the official League One Team of the Week following their performance against Reading the previous weekend. Well done to Don, well done to Theo. A great performance. We covered it in last week's pod. Everyone well happy with that.
Yeah. Indeed. To Tuesday now, the 20th of January at 6:00, and what had widely been rumoured was actually confirmed, as both DJ and Phil Chinedu joined Barnet on loan for the rest of the season. Richie said this is a great opportunity for Phil to go and experience regular senior football in the EFL. He's someone that we really like, and playing in League Two will be important for the next stage of his development. We believe that he can have a big future here, and by joining a club that is looking to try and challenge for promotion in the second half of this season, I hope it's a move that he'll learn a lot from.
Alright, Richie went on to say in terms of DJ, he needs to be playing games at this stage of his career, and his opportunities have been limited Our fans have seen flashes of the quality he has, and he's someone that has done really well for me in the past. He goes with my best wishes. Paul Bidi Legende, your views on that one? Any surprises when you saw that news?
No, it's like what's taking it so long. No, good luck to him. We didn't get to see the best of him. Richie spoke very highly of him. Clearly, there is someone with ability there. We just never got to see it for whatever reasons, unbeknown to us at times. But it's a good opportunity for Phil Chinadu to really test himself, like Richie says, in a League Two competitive game, not in 21s or some cup that happens once in a blue moon. Good standard. And it'll be an education for him. So let's see how he does.
Yeah.
He played yesterday. They both played yesterday.
Both started.
They did start. They made their debuts, and I think DJ came off at half time, but Phil Chinadu stayed on a bit longer.
Yeah, I think Phil got 70 minutes, 75
something
minutes.
like that.
Be a great experience
So
for Phil.
fair.
I think we've been quite excited about him on the podcast. He comes very highly regarded. Obviously, not really in Richie's plans for the first team. I think it's probably fair to say
Not
at
yet.
this stage in his career. But yeah, I think being at Barnet, playing League Two football until the end of the season will do his development absolutely no harm.
Agreed.
DJ, player there, seen it in glimpses, not much of it, but like Richie said, goes with our best wishes. Seemed like a nice guy from when we've briefly met him at the training ground, and hopefully can kick on at Barnet and go on to have a good rest of his career. I think Richie even said in his interview, look, he's not getting a new contract here. He was pretty open about it. So yeah, I think the last time we probably mentioned DJ in quite a substantial amount. All right, we had quite a few tweets. Going to mention one from Casey Adams LFC. He said, "Can say what you like on DJ's ability, but no one can knock his work rate. Unfortunately, he isn't at League One level, but has always given his all and made himself available. Even dropped down to the 21s team to get game time. Good luck to him." I think
you're being very kind, Casey.
I think my biggest memory of DJ was probably him starting against Man City and actually having probably his best game for Orient in probably the most high-profile game I've seen at the club in the last couple of years. He's done very well, but yeah, other than that, glimpses. See what happens to him.
Yeah, I don't think he got dropped down to the 21s. I think it was given that time because that's all he need. That's what he needed, and we have a duty of care to him to give him game time whenever we can, where it permits. In the evening, the Young O's were in action. This is still Tuesday the 20th of January. In the evening, the Young O's were in action. They were away at Hendon in the London Senior Cup, and we took the lead in the 7th minute as Alfie Wellens played a through ball. Zach Hanbury latched onto it and rounded the keeper to put the ball in the net, making it 1-0. We then doubled our lead in the 22nd minute through Claudio Anzang, and we added a third from Alfie Wellens as the O's went in at the break at a 3-0 lead.
Lovely jubbly. Aaron Sterling made it 4-0 in the 53rd minute. Jacob Lowe added a fifth in the 74th minute, or one of his first touches after coming off the bench, and Zhang scored his second of the game to complete the scoring for the O's in the 80th minute before Hendon pulled a late consolation goal back as the game finished 6-1 to the Orient.
Yeah, so well done to the Young O's. Well done to the Young O's who comfortably progressed through to the next round of the London Senior Cup. Well done, boys.
All right, Wednesday, the 21st of January. More plaudits, big plaudits for Don Ballard as he was named in the EAFC Team of the Week 19 following his performance against Reading. It's not often you see an O's player make the EAFC Team of the Week. It's happened once or twice on this podcast, but not much at all. Well done, Dom. Great to see, and obviously Dom getting loads of exposure off the back of that hat-trick last weekend.
As fortunately or unfortunately, whichever way you want to look at it, because obviously it's now alerted lots of other clubs. He's obviously the League One's Golden Boot nominee at the moment, and it puts him on.
Well, Saleh
platforms.
Didn't score, did he? Last week he came off injured, but I think he's fine from what Cardiff are saying. Tolage didn't score, so he's still 15. So still considerably ahead in the Golden Boot challenge. So love to see
Fletcher is now up there from Blackpool.
He's doing well.
Fletcher, Salic, and Tolage and Wooten because Carl Wooten scored yesterday.
All on 12.
All on 12. There's 4 of them on 12 at the moment. Then Davis Keeler done in 6th with 11 goals. So, and then Marriott and Castledean. And Wareham at Exeter are on 10, so it's very tight there.
You haven't got to worry about Castledean.
No, because he's gone to Middlesbrough.
Keeler Dunn apparently going Blackburn. Keeps rumours keep going
heard
around.
He was on his potentially, not surprisingly, that he'd go to a bigger club.
We'll see.
Considering how poorly Barnsley are doing at the moment. There was no news to report on Thursday the 22nd of January. It was a relatively quiet day at the club, so let's skip on.
All right, Friday 23rd, then Alfie Wellens joined at National League South side Dagenham and Redbridge on a 1-month work experience loan deal. Good luck, Alfie. Keeping an eye on you down at the Daggers.
Yep. Absolutely. Someone told me a rumour that some YouTubers are going to try and buy Dagenham and Redbridge. I haven't seen anything in the press, but yeah, anyway. Saturday the 24th of January, young Zach O'Keefe joined Welling on a 28-day work experience loan deal, joining fellow young Zach Hanbury. So wish both the Zacks well down at down at Welling. Good luck, boys.
All right, speaking of the young O's, they were in action as they hosted Bromley on Saturday morning, early afternoon. We're going to keep this one brief. The young O's lost this one 4-0, very unlike the young O's. We'll say unlucky to them. Hopefully they're ready to go again in the next match and make up for the weekend's performance.
Indeed. The main event of Saturday, though, was obviously Bolton Wanderers away, aka the Darren Pratley, Will Forrester and Sam Dalby derby. Before the game, we ran a Twitter poll to find out how you think we'd get on, and after just 160 votes, 24% thought we'd lose, 34 went for a win, and 42 went for an optimistic draw. So thanks to everyone who took a moment to cast their votes.
I thought it was a very optimistic O's fan base there, I must say. Bear in mind, Bolton are fourth going into this one. Massive club for League One. Huge players. I thought maybe the lose percentage would have been higher. I got say 34% thinking a win, 42 draw. That's over 70% thinking we would go into that and not lose the game. Very surprising.
That's mad, isn't it?
Very surprising.
Three quarters of that 160. So 120 out of the 160 were like, we're not going to lose that.
Surprised.
It's mental. But I didn't vote, but I sit within that 75% because I went on a Trotters podcast and I Thursday, and I predicted it would be either a goal in it, right, or it would be 1-1. So I plumped for 1-1. I stuck my.
You were close.
Yeah, barring self-sabotage in the 89th minute, I would have been spot on. Yeah. And everyone would have been happy with that. I think the way we played against Cardiff and then against Reading, I don't see any reason why we shouldn't have been hopeful.
Yeah, we could. We obviously kind of prep our outro songs. We could have played Sabotage by the Beastie Boys. That would have been a good outro song to play. But we've already got our outro queued up. All right.
Change it.
At 1:45, the team was announced. We had Cahill in goal with Mitchell, James, Simpson, Casey, and Archibald named at the back in St Abdullah. Wellens, O'Neill, and Ballard making up the 11 with the Phillips, Happy, Craig, Morehouse, Karoma, Perkins, and Matthews making up the subs bench.
That meant there were 3 changes from the team who beat Reading last weekend, as in came Dimitri Mitchell, Caelan Casey and Azim Abdullah in the place of injured Sean Clare, and Will Forrester and AJ Matthews took a place on the bench. Your thoughts when you saw that come up?
After I deciphered what I thought the team was going to look like, because obviously the team comes up and it's in number order, so you're scrolling through it and you're thinking, I need to try to work out who's playing where. Once I'd worked it out and saw that Matthews wasn't on the pitch, because we mentioned this last week, do you keep 2 up top and really attack them? Do you go back to 1 up top and try and nullify their attack or the way they play? So obviously Richie's been looking at that in the terms of Matthews dropping to the bench. I mean, we only had 1 up front, so disappointed is the wrong word, but I was a bit like, we had an opportunity, got a bit ahead of steam here, and we've gone back to kind of playing only 1 up front. But
equally, I guess what happens further back is obviously having a bit of an impact.
Oh yeah, of course, absolutely.
Around that, right?
I mean, it's a shame to not have Forrester there. Obviously, Richie done his pre-match on Friday, said there wouldn't be a Forrester playing, so we can only hope that Forrester's injury isn't too bad. Sometimes what they say in the pre-match isn't quite what actually is happening. So he said, I think he's already gone on to say, unless I've misconstrued it, that Forrester ain't playing against Donny away, and he probably doesn't make Port Vale at home. So that's like 2 weeks out already. So hoping he's back for Stockport away in 2 weeks, because he's been a big player for us. But I think we're all a bit twitchy about that one, right? You sign a injury-prone defender, he comes, gives you his first 2 games, looks great, and he's out of an injury. Please don't be too long. So disappointed to not see Forrester. I mean, still some notable omissions. I mean, you look at that and you go, what is going on with Omar Beckles?
Yeah.
I mean, that is the one where fans are looking and going, this looks a bit odd. And obviously, we'll talk about Richie's kind of post-match interview after, where he was questioned on it and gave a very quick answer. And I think Dave could pick up on the fact that he didn't really want to talk about it anymore in the Richie's tone. But obviously, we come back to Beckles after. Interesting that Casey is in ahead of Happy for me. Obviously, Happy's fit again. Casey gets in ahead of Happy, but I think Richie did kind of talk about the reasoning behind it in terms of phasing his back. But when I saw that as a starting point, I was like, okay, so Kif Mossam gets in ahead of Dan Happy. And one of the first names who everyone thought might be out of the club, in this transfer window. Sonny Perkins is back on the bench. I've got to be honest. I don't think there's a huge amount of takers for Sonny Perkins at the moment. Would be my presumption, unless you want to ship him off to a national league, and I don't think that's where the club see him. I think their stance may change during the week if they don't get some uptake on him. But I mean, saying that, at the moment he's on the bench in a League One squad. So if you're Sonny Perkins, do I actually go to League Two and maybe not have a great loan spell and end up on the bench somewhere, or do I stay at Orient?
Just sit on my contract
and sit on the bench and maybe get some game time here and there if Matthews picks up an injury or Ballard picks up an injury. Still a lot of football to be played. So I think we all kind of looked down when Perkins is back in, because obviously, you've got Morehouse, Karoma and Matthews on the bench. So you could easily take Perkins out of there and put in someone like your Obieros or someone like your Beckles if you want to firm up your defensive options or your midfield options. So Perkins is in there. I mean, I didn't ever see Perkins getting on, but I just thought, Sonny Perkins is back. So that's my view. Do you?
Similar to you. No, not seeing Omar Beckles in the matchday squad is obviously what's going on here. I suspect Omar is obviously not favourite anymore. I don't know if there's been a falling out. I don't know if he's going to move. My suspicion a player at his age, he's got a recent promotion on his CV. He's got a playoff final on his CV. Like, he's a good human being. He's a really nice bloke. He wants to be playing at 33 or whatever he is. He needs to be playing football. So, yeah, keep an eye on that one. I've got no ulterior motive on that. I've got no inside knowledge on that. But he's not even making the matchday squad. Dan Happy, who is still not fully fit, which is obviously what Richie says in his post-match, makes it ahead of him. And like you just said, one up from that, Caelan Casey starts ahead of him. So I completely agree. Something not quite right there.
If I was Bromley manager or Ian Holloway at Swindon, and I was looking around, going, who's available?
Nah.
Beckles for me is an absolute no-brainer.
I
Been
agree.
there, done it. Great character. Has got the experience. Can lead you to it. Again, I don't know the finances behind it, but if I was one of those managers, maybe even the Port Vale manager, just gone in and conceding goals for fun, you go, experience to maybe shore up this defence. I mean, Beckles is sixth choice at Orient. I think it's pretty clear that he's getting nowhere near the squad as it stands anyway.
And we're not exactly flying high in League One either. So.
Well, exactly. So yeah, something he's lost kudos. So if I was a high-flying League Two manager who wanted maybe someone to get me over the line on a cheeky loan deal, maybe a cheeky full-time transfer, I don't know. Again, he's got 18 months on the contract, so you ain't just ripping up his contract. I know he's very highly liked at the club and highly regarded, but I just can't see them coming to a mutual termination of contract.
No, I agree.
I just can't. If there was 6 months left, possibly, but 18 months, that's a big payout. I can't see it.
He's got a new kid. He ain't going anywhere. He's settled back home.
Unless he gets offered a great loan deal that's too good to turn down. But I don't know. But that was the big one for me. Yeah, and Mitchell, you made the point of Mitchell as well. Yeah, great point. Mitchell straight into the starting lineup.
Yeah, I'm surprised at him suddenly getting. I like him. I think he's a really nice guy, but I was quite surprised that he goes straight in. And Perkins in the side over like an Obiero.
Yeah,
would it not be sensible to talk about getting him ready and having that experience? Stick him on the bench. Like, if you're trying to get rid of Sonny Perkins, like if you don't fancy him that much, then get him out. Look to move him on as quickly as possible. We're coming to the end of January now. Where we've got a week to go, and then transfer window closes a week on Monday. Is Zach Obiero going to be here? Is he going to go out on loan? Let's see what happens there. But it's a big chance for Dimitri Mitchell. Really big chance to stake a claim.
Agree. It's been a very stop-start season, hasn't it, for Dimitri Mitchell?
It has.
It's been fair to say.
No player does well when it is stop-start. Let's be perfectly honest. They're human beings. They don't want to do badly. I'm completely on board with that. They want to do well, and they need a consistent run in the team. But when they do get the chance, it doesn't really feel like anyone ever grabs the ball by the horns and go, yeah, I'm going to make that spot mine, and whoever's trying to get that spot. Like, they don't own it, and that's the problem.
I think the only one who's done that in the last month or two is Theo Archibald.
100%.
And there's obviously going to be a lot of tweets about Theo after this game again, we had him last week, we had him the week before. He just epitomises what we need on the pitch from all 11 players. So lots of points from us, lots of reaction when that team was announced. MS Orient said, you're signing a Millwall boy and then bench him along with Perkins. Now that speaks volumes.
Dazzy C 1970 said, with Mitchell starting, does that mean Theo's playing further forward?
Yeah, I mean, at that point, everyone was trying to decipher what that team looked like. I thought it would be the 5-3-2 or going to the 3-5-2 at points. Other people thought it would look like a 4-2-3-1. There's lots of different ways you could interpret that before kick-off. David Carroll once, a decent 11, lots of left-footed players, and guess that Ollie will be playing on the right. The one thing that does confuse me though is our club captain injured, dropped, or moving on.
Phil Veazey once said, big blow losing Will Forrester. What a test for Casey. Think I would have kept the faith with Matthews. Lots for Dom and Ollie to do. Strongish midfield. Point will be fabulous.
James O'Hagan said, I'm surprised Matthews was on the bench after last week, and I'm surprised to see Perkins at all. At least we have both a substitute keeper and options this week. Good point there. Obviously, in Richie's pre-match interview, he mentioned that suggested there's only going to be one keeper. So nice to see Phillips named on the bench. Good point there, James. He went to finish on by saying, hoping Casey proves himself after the initial reaction to his signing.
Yeah. Falcon_Ori has the final word on the team. He says, what on earth has happened with Beckles? It seems bizarre that he doesn't make the bench. Even though he has played poor, he is the club captain and can't believe he's a bad or disruptive influence. Yeah. Agree with you on that, Falcon_Ori. Good
point. So the match kicked off with the O's looking to build on their recently improved performances against the Bolton Wanderers team in a playoff place and aiming for automatic promotion. And going into this one, Orient had lost 7 of their last 8 games on the road, and Bolton only 1 defeat in their last 13 home games. So if you're looking at this as on the polls, it's a certain home banker.
Yeah.
You would imagine for the neutral fan looking at this one from the outside.
11 minutes on the clock. A first-time cross from Theo Archibald just evaded Don Ballard in the middle of the area. The ball came to Dimitri Mitchell, got stuck under his feet as the pass to Wellens was intercepted and the chance went.
Theo Archibald is so good at those literally look up first time crosses in the box. If Mitchell was a bit sharper, maybe he puts his laces through it and connects with it, literally gets stuck on his feet. Chance gone. Great cross there. We're going to fast forward to the 29th minute. Azim Abdullahi, who's going with an eventful game in this one, he was booked as he stopped a quick free kick being taken for Bolton.
XO Sam Dalby released Gale down the left on the half-hour mark. He drove forward, cut inside, and his low shot was no problem for Killian Cahill.
All right, we're going to go forward now. Another 11 minutes to the 42nd, and Ozzy Tutu picked up a Bolton counter-attack down the right wing. He cut inside as he got forward, and his drilled shot was well held by Cahill.
4 minutes of additional time were played, and in the 4th minute, Caelan Casey connected with Ollie O'Neill's cross, but the header missed on Ballard, and it went just wide. So we've really been quite light on action. In the first half, I think it's fair to say.
Not much to talk about, but I think we would have taken this going into half time. No further action as the teams went in goalless, 0-0 half time. We don't know what the full attendance was, but we do know they were just shy of 400 away fans who made that journey. So fair play to all of you. Bolton is not local whatsoever, so fair play.
There were no changes for the O's at half-time, but it was the worst possible start. As Dimitri Mitchell missed a header in the middle of the park. The ball was played to Thierry Gale on the left. He drove into the box, past Tom James, with Mitchell unable to make the challenge. He smashed it past Killian Cahill to make it 1-0 to the hosts. Your thoughts on that, guy?
What an awful start to the second half.
Yeah.
We saw this like bits and pieces last season where they looked just so vulnerable coming out of the second half. But I mean, that all comes from our throwing. 20 seconds before Cahill's picking the ball out of the net, we've got throwing on the left hand side. Lose it. Mitchell really poor, like in the middle of the park with his header, and then really poor where he can't get back into position, and he knows once his man's ahead of him, if he touches him, he's going to go down for a penalty.
Yeah.
James doesn't know really what to do. He doesn't know if Mitchell's going to tackle him, leaves him. And it's really odd goalkeeping from Cahill. He kind of like turns away from the ball almost as it's like going past him. I know he's trying to like narrow his angles down, but you see it from a few different camera angles, and the corner is like gaping, and Cahill almost like turns away from it as opposed to goes into it. It's just a bit odd. Good finish from the lad, but from an Orient perspective, it's shocking. I think
you're right. I think you're right. I mean, yeah, all right. Mitchell makes the initial mistake, but there is enough behind him to cover for that, and we don't do enough. And Tom James doesn't shepherd him onto his other foot. He just stands there side on, which I get, low centre of gravity, no problem at all. But you've got to go and attack it. You can't let the guy run into your box because they have a knack of shooting and scoring, and we're not that lucky that that's going to go wide or Killian Cahill saves it. So I just thought it was poor. Mitchell does try to recover. Fair play to him. Got no problem with the effort that he's shown there. There's no criticism there, but we don't do enough to stop that, and that isn't just down to Dimitri Mitchell.
Yeah.
There's 2 other players there. Someone else could have come across to cover. They don't. They score. Simple as that. I saw a lot of hate for Dimitri Mitchell. I don't agree with that.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
Don't get me wrong, the initial mistake he makes is poor, but he tries his best to get back, and there were others behind him that could have, should have done better, in my opinion.
All right, poor start to the second half,
Yeah.
but the O's weren't behind for long as Ollie O'Neill won possession, and after some nice passes from Charlie Wellens and Tyreek Backinson, the ball came back to Ollie. He got some space on the right. He sent a low cross across the box. Don Ballard cleverly left it, and there was captain Theo Valentine Archibald running onto the ball as he finished first time past the keeper with a first time strike. 1-1. Lovely finish there from Theo.
Really good.
Another assist from Ollie as well. Very similar to his goal at the very same ground, same end.
Yeah.
Just shy of just over 2 years ago, and a very similar celebration with the arms aloft, fist pumped, running back. Theo Archibald just continues to defy all kinds of human. I don't know what I'm looking for. He's flabbergasted me in my own podcast. Just continues to defy everything around what a human being should be able to do.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, this guy is literally still coming back from his second career threatening injury.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah, it's an amazing player. Amazing. If only we had 10 more
Unreal.
like him out there. Yeah, really good goal. Obviously, Don Ballard, clever for him to leave it. Obviously, Theo gave him the shout, and he left it. That was great work from Ollie O'Neill. We shouldn't underestimate any part of that goal. I thought that was a really well worked goal, really nice goal. And we were only behind for 3 minutes. It's easy to let your heads drop. But
Great
we
response.
didn't, and it is a superb turnaround and response. Yeah.
And Ollie O'Neill, like we've mentioned, Ballard being top of the league in terms of the goal scorers chart. I think O'Neill might be joint top of the League One assist chart. If not, he's in second place. Bear in mind that he missed at least 2.5 months of the season, which is fantastic for him.
He's joint top with Kozia Dubry and Niskanen.
I reckon if you look at appearances, I reckon Ollie O'Neill's probably made a few less than what the other two have.
He has. He's got Kozia
Look at
Dubry's
this.
got
Stato.
8 assists in 28 games. Kozia Dubry. O'Neill is 8 assists in 21.
Lovely.
And Niskanen from Exeter is 8 assists in 26.
Wow.
So by far and away, he has been far more useful in terms of scoring. Assisting eight times in 21 games.
All right. Let's hope there's plenty more.
My quick maths is quite good, but it's not quick enough to look at the others and compare.
It's
them
about
to,
1 in 2.5 for Ollie O'Neill.
Yeah, it's
I
not
think
quite
it's
one. It's not quite 1 in 3. But I'm looking at Cleary, 7 assists in 19 games. That's nearly 1 in 3.
Is that Barnsley?
That's the Barnsley.
He's going
goal.
Bristol City, don't worry, babe. He's going for big money.
Yeah.
He's going for big money. All right, the O's had the emphasis behind them in the 52nd minute. Big moment in the game as penalty appeals for the O's were turned down as Azim Abdullahi capitalised on a poor pass from keeper Bonham. Abdullahi's touch slightly overhit but took him into the box where he collided with Bonham after it looked like he had just got to the ball first. The referee said no, much to the annoyance of Richie Wellens. It's tough. There's only one angle that I've seen it from. Seen them given, seen them not given. The commentator on the highlights though literally was like, that's a Stonewall penalty. Never seen a commentator so biased towards an Orient player for a fouling situation. He couldn't believe it. Richie couldn't believe it. It's one of those, isn't it? Like, there's nothing else to say. Like, we can talk about refs all day long, but I can see why he didn't give it. It's a very, very heavy touch from Abdullahi. Like, really heavy touch. So I presume, again, if referees were interviewed after the game, I guess you could get a more thorough kind of explanation about why he didn't give it. My presumption is he thought that maybe Abdullahi didn't have complete control of the ball, but yeah,
frustrating.
Not going our way with those decisions.
And we get that, and it's a whole different game
for
the next 40 minutes. Richie Wellens was booked for his protest in the 57th minute. Tyreek Backinson won the ball, charged forward, and with his strike, he hit the side net.
I like that from Tyreek.
I do, but I thought he just held on to it too long and he should have fed someone.
But I mean, we haven't seen him. He wins the ball really well and he just drives forward.
Yeah, I like it.
We haven't seen that from Backinson much. We saw it against Reading a couple of times. He slipped Ballard in a couple of times last week that I thought we were like, oh, hello. Yeah. So maybe we're starting to see the best out of Backinson. Yeah, could have passed, maybe should have passed. Shot was nothing really, but in terms of the intent and winning the ball and driving forward, I like it.
Yeah, he'd earned the right to shoot. Don't get me wrong, he'd earned the right. He'd done all that hard work. He had the right to shoot and take the glory. But equally, If he'd have just got that ball in the middle of the box with a nice pass, that'd have been fabulous. He'd have been a hero of the week for that.
63rd minute, Bolton had a swift counter-attack as McAtee got the ball to Gale, whose shot inside the box was well deflected over the bar by Tom James, who done well there to be fair. And 2 minutes later, Simmons glanced a corner along the 6-yard box from close range, but no one was there to meet it.
We made our first substitution in the 66th minute as Michael Craig came on to replace Dimitri Mitchell, who I believe had cramp.
Yeah, no surprise there. Dimitri Mitchell probably playing it over his first hour of football in quite a long time. As well, I think, again, I'm not sure if we're going to play Richard's interview within this episode, but I think there were 3 players, who suffered with cramp yesterday.
I
mean,
know,
what is going on?
Are they not training at a high enough intensity? I know Dimitri's been out injured for a little bit, but equally, like how is they get injuries? Some are freak injuries. I understand that they're not planned. It's not like there's like muscle tears and challenges that have gone in that are broken limbs. But cramp.
Look, if I'm playing with you football, right, and you get cramp after an hour, I'm like, all right, fair play.
44,
you're 45 years old, and it's not your full-time job,
Correct.
right? These guys, again, the height of their professional careers, a professional sportsman, you go down cramp, play 66 minutes, boy.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
Yeah, agree. In the 68th minute, I haven't seen this one back. It's probably a nothing incident, but Theo had an effort, according to our club's Twitter feed, from 50 yards, and the ball flew just over. I imagine it was probably nowhere near goal, and the club were trying to exaggerate to get a bit of unlucky Theo, but that didn't make the highlights. So it probably shows you how close it was or wasn't from goal.
72 minutes, second Orient substitution. Dan Happy came on to replace Tom James.
All right, we're going to skip forward now to the 78th minute, and a chance for the hosts as a cross from Morley found Farino at the back post, and unmarked from a fairly decent position, he sliced it across goal.
Should have done so much better. How is he unmarked in our box like that to be able to do that? That is an awful finish from Farino. He should be embarrassed about that, in my opinion. That is shameful. But thank God for us, because otherwise I think that would have been an unfair scoreline at that point. The third substitution for the O's came in the 80th minute. AJ Matthews came on to replace Tyreek Backinson.
So there's a few eyebrows raised, I guess, at that one. First, he's bringing on a forward from midfielder. You're like, all right, fair play here, Richie. And I think secondly, Azim was already booked at this point. Obviously, Tyreek wasn't. So you get into last 10 with the risk of maybe Azim picking up a second yellow. Tyreek obviously not booked. Obviously, don't know where their fitness levels were at within this one, but a few eyebrows raised there. And then in the 85th minute, the O's went close. A bit of pinball around the box as Matthews had a penalty appeal not given after he went in for a ball with Bonham, who did look like he knocked him down on the floor. Again, the commentator, bit of a pro-Orient commentator, to be fair.
Okay.
And then Don Ballard went down in the box as well as Farino made another block. So they were nervous. When we were in their box, they were nervous. You could feel it in terms of their crowd's reaction when it was pinning around in their box. And on another day, we get the penalty or a bit of a lucky deflection, the ball's in the back of the net, and we're talking about an amazing 2-1 win or taking the lead there in the 85th minute, but just wasn't meant to be.
In the 89th minute, Bolton were awarded a penalty as a corner was swung in the box. Azim Abdullah jumped with his arm raised, and he basically tried to make Dylan Maradona. Basically, tried to basically look like he'd headed the ball when he'd actually cleared the ball with his hand. Referee had no hesitation and pointed to the spot.
You're not seeing a clearer penalty than that, are you? Like ever? I don't know what he was doing. Like
sabotaging from the like we're like victims of our own. Like we're the masters of our downfall. It's ridiculous. What are you jumping like that for? What are you doing?
I agree.
What are you? Honestly, it's so annoying. It's such a stupid thing to do. That's 1-1.
Well, it's the 89th minute, right? There's no Bolton player ahead. There's one behind him, and the ball's not even that high. Like it looks like he could probably head it if he jumps a bit higher. I don't know why he was leading with his hand. I mean, it's been all over Twitter. Like his handball today. He done one in the first half. I don't know if we've seen it where the ball like bounces up and hits his hand. He just literally like catches the ball like in their box when we're attacking.
Wow.
And I think there's been a few, and I think we've been a bit loath to retweet some of this stuff where people are like, maybe you had a bet on, like, but I don't. That's not something we're going to get like in the palm of that. But just like, what are you like?
Why are you jumping with your arm in the air? It's so stupid. It's so annoying. It's so annoying. It's really unbelievable.
At that time as well, 89th minute. There's nothing you can do. He's lucky you didn't get a second booking for that because it's the most blatant handball you're ever likely to see. Head's nowhere near it. Yeah. Arms well up in the air. I mean, again, me and Paul sitting around a table. My arms up in the air. This is an audio podcast, so you can't see this. Like his hands up in the air to
Yeah.
Like volleyball, mate. It's like basketball. What
Yeah.
are you doing, lad?
Yeah, he's tried to be clever and it's not worked.
He's an idiot.
Yeah.
And the problem Azim's got, and I'm going to come on this later, like, he comes across so nonchalant off the pitch. You see him interviewing, he's like, yeah, like, he's just like so cool, so laid back. You want to see someone like, when they make that kind of mistake, look really remorseful and regret. He just doesn't look like it. I think that's half the problem with him. He just does not look like. I'm sure he does care. Never met him. I'm sure he's like a really top bloke. I'm sure he's really nice. But when you see the interviews with him or his reactions to what happens on the pitch, and like when he took that Peterborough's player's head off about 4 months ago, when he got something, it just looks like he just does not get. That's the word. You're like, mate,
I agree.
Show some emotion on the pitch. That way we can at least empathise with you.
Yeah,
no one's empathising with the guy because he does it.
Yeah.
Sorry, lads.
Yeah.
Sorry you came 200 miles and I handballed it in the 89th minute. We lost. Sorry.
Yeah.
On to next week.
Yeah.
Buzzing for next week. Like, mate, show your emotions on the pitch. That Orient fan, he's again well off piece. We signed him a year ago on Thursday because obviously we have our Facebook memories, right? This time last year we think we might have found a bit of a gem here. A year ago on Tuesday coming up, he scores a hat trick
against Exeter.
And we're like, what have we got here?
Pulled this kid out of Swansea or wherever it was we got him from, and he's like, here we go.
And now you just got to skip forward 12 months. What an absolutely horrific 12 months he's had. From being, he got sent off against Peterborough 3 months ago. Everyone's like, get him out of the club. He's done. He's done so well to get back into like the team and to get everyone's support back. And we've all been like, great, Abdullah's back. And then this happens again, and it just seems for every one step forward you get for Azim Abdullah, you're taking three or four steps back.
1,000,000%. There is a player in there somewhere. I just don't know where his attitude is.
I agree, but that's because he doesn't show it on the pitch. Because again, it just doesn't. His character doesn't come through. Character does not come through at all. So that's it. We conceded the penalty. Up stepped Mason Burstow. I don't think this guy had scored in 4 months. Oh, by the way, as well, Bolton's first penalty of the season.
Of course it is.
You know that, yeah?
Of course it is.
Bolton's first penalty in the league this season. Burstow steps up, straight down the middle. Cahill diving away from it. 2-1 Bolton. Bosh, if you're a Bolton fan, you're living the dream. If you're a Orient fan, you're like, what are you doing?
It just plays into the stats.
Oh.
It just plays into the stats. 10 minutes of added time and up on the board. In the 96th minute, O'Neill found Ballard inside the box. Unfortunately, Ballard couldn't get his shot away.
No further action to talk about. The referee blew his full-time whistle as the O's fell to 2-1 defeat, and the points weren't coming back to E10 as we lost our 8th game in 9 on the road. So Dave Victor spoke to Richie Wellens after the game, and here is Richie Wellens' interview in full.
Richie, thanks for joining us. I'd imagine you're very frustrated. Can we start with the last penalty decision?
I've not seen it, but obviously our analyst Shred he's watching it for 30 seconds of penalty, so yeah, no complaints.
But you thought you should have had a penalty before that, and again, Azim Abdullah involved.
Stonewall, absolutely stonewall. And it's a big moment in the game because they was kicking the ball out of the play a lot. They couldn't play round us. We were pressing the ball aggressively, trapped him in corners, long balls through to the goalkeeper, like I say, kicking out of play, Diag's kicking out of play, and we go 2-0. This place just continues to turn, and we start opening up, and we can get another on the count. It's the biggest moment in the game, but every week, the referees are so bad, and I think it's at an all-time low.
Because you fought back after Bolton took the lead moments after the restart, and it was a fantastic strike.
Yeah, I'm really pleased with the players today. I thought the performance level was good. A lot of teams come here and sit back and camp and allow them to pass the ball across the back. We're not about that, and I want to build a squad that is capable of doing it continuously, and a squad, and I mean a squad. At the moment, we haven't got a squad to do that. But I thought first half we was very good. You know that they've got talent. So the two wingers are two of the best in the league, and on transition we made a mistake on transition. It's a good finish by their lad. And then this place, when it gets going, can really be a positive for the home players. But I thought our response was well, got a quick equaliser. And like I said, never did I felt our goal was on. In fact, their goal was under siege a lot more than us. Reduced them to shots outside the box. But too many times we made the wrong decision in the final third, pullbacks when it wasn't on, crosses where they're getting first contact, crosses where we just miss it. And we had so many ricochets, so many balls going in their box throughout the course of the game that we should have scored more than one.
First start for Casey, looked very
I
assured.
thought he was good. Yeah, he's a good player. He's going to be very good.
How bad is the injury for Will Forster?
He'll be. He probably won't make any of the games this week.
And is Omar Beckles injured?
No.
So, but you've got options at the back there, haven't you? With Dan
Yeah,
Hackett
listen,
coming in.
we didn't want to rush Dan Hatt. We wanted to make sure we got with what we've done in the past, because we've been eager to get Dan back in. We've rushed him back in terms of his training load, and his training load has been minimal before we put him back in. And we're trying to get just a steady load of training under his belt before he obviously starts getting back in the team and continues his form. Because listen, I rate Dan. I think he's a really good player. But I think in the two centre-backs that we brought in, Will and Kale, I think Kalen is a terrific player, and Will's obviously, been brilliant for us as well. Tom James has been excellent, Jack Simpson has been excellent, so we're really strong in that department. The biggest frustration for me is, like, apart from a couple of long shots, in the last 3 games we give no chances away. At that moment, transition, obviously the penalty was difficult to control. So I'm really pleased that, these could be a lot higher. Because when I watch their games back or look at their data, they have 28 shots, 10, 15 on target, whatever it may be. And they've been unfortunate to pick up a draw or whatever or not win. But I thought we were so good in the game that we didn't allow them to do that.
Is Tom James okay?
Bit of cramp. Same with Dimitri, who's obviously not played again. And again, the enforced substitutions make an impact in our game, because it means that we've 17 minutes goal, we wanted to go to a front two, then we can't make another sub after that. So again, I've never known a season like it where we have to make subs due to injuries or people having cramp or whatever it may be.
And Tariq Beckerson, is that just a change? Cramp as well. Is there a reason why there's so much cramp that's happening?
I thought we played at great intensity today. Maybe it was that. It's a big pitch. So listen, they're fit lads. You've seen what we've done against Cardiff. You've seen what we've done against Reading. They're getting fitter. They're getting stronger. Used to the way that we want to play. I'm just gutted. I thought we deserved a minimum. I would have actually been disappointed with a point. But I'll go back to it. Football, doesn't matter what level you play, at the top, the very, very top, the margins are so close. And even at this level, the margins are really, really fine. And the referee, it's every week that they have a decision. And listen, you made mistakes since Reading last week, but you push it under the carpet because you win the game. But for me, I haven't got a complaint about their penalty, but he couldn't wait to give it. He couldn't, but so many fouls. Even the fourth official said to me, I've had a word in my half time, I think he's giving them a little bit more than you. They say it with a smirk on the face. They're not very good, are they? They're not very good.
It's a quick turnaround, and it's another long journey midweek Tuesday to Doncaster.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to it. I think we're putting 3 really good performances on the bounce against 3 for me. Reading was a form team in the league, and in Bolton and Cardiff have the best stadiums, biggest budget, biggest squad. So we've put 3 really good performances together. So let's continue to do it, and hopefully pick up 3 points on Tuesday.
So that was Richie Wellens talking to Dave Victor after the match. Thank you, as always, to Dave for sending that over. So that defeat means the O's stay in 16th place in League One. Played 27 with won 9, drawn 5, lost 13, 32 points and a goal difference of -5. So, Bearded Legende, your views on yesterday?
So frustrating. It's so annoying, isn't it, that was heading to a rightful 1-1 draw. They had a couple of chances, we had a couple of chances, but even Stevens would have been a fair result. But it's just Azim Abdullah just cannot get it right. And I don't want to exhaust the point, but he is the one who is responsible for conceding that penalty. It's wholly and solely on his shoulders. Why you jump up with your arm in the air in a completely unnatural position is beyond me, and you do it in your own box. Why wasn't he substituted, like you say, when he was on a yellow card already? Why was Backinson taken off? If Richie makes a different decision, it's a different outcome. If Azim Abdullah uses his brain a bit more, it's a different outcome.
Of course.
Do we do enough in that game to take something from it? I think we do. Don't really have too much more to say about it. I mean, we've done well last week against Reading. We've done well previous week against Cardiff. Let's not get down about it. This game isn't going to be the game that kind of defines our season. It's not going to send us down or get us into the playoffs. So no need to get sort of too bent out of shape about it. We had turned a corner a little bit. It was an undeserved loss. It would always go down as a loss on the record books. We don't get any points for not feeling deserved. So, or what we could have got from a game. It doesn't work like that. I'm fully aware of that. But listen, the performances generally have been good in the last sort of 2 or 3 weeks, and they'll hopefully continue to come good. For you?
Would have been a great point. I think we all would have taken a point before the game kicked off, and I think told it until the 89th minute, and kind of like you said, self-sabotage makes it a bit harder to take, but definitely some positives there. We created quite a few chances. Theo, again, another exceptional performance from Theo, who's literally taken the left-back spot by storm. And again, I think we're going to have a quick chat about transfer or inactivity as opposed to activity, because nothing's happening. But I mean, to me, left back isn't really a big problem at the moment, because even if you signed a left back tomorrow, you can't drop Theo Archibald at left back. I think you'd be out of your mind to do so. The performances he's giving, what he's giving you, the driving you up the pitch as well, and he's playing with heart and determination. Give me that any day over a standard left back. You ain't going to give you that any day of the week. So Theo was great. I think give Kalen Casey's props in defence. Full debut, didn't look out of place. Superb. Another assist for O'Neill. Yeah, on another day, maybe Azim. If you sit in another day and the referee makes 2 different decisions, Azim could be the hero. Yeah. Because if he wins the penalty, he's done that of all his own making. And then if we get the penalty and it goes in, then you're 2-1 up with half hour left. And you've got a quiet Bolton Wanderers stadium to go and kick on from. So, I mean, those are the fine margins, right? Those are things that would define his, not only Azim's time here, but everyone's time here. But again, I think I made my points about Azim. He just looks so lax.
Yeah.
That it's hard to empathise with him, really, and I think that's going to come across in a lot of the tweets that we read out. But yeah, like I said, the performance itself wasn't too bad. So off the back of playing Cardiff, Reading, and Bolton, who I believe are all in the top half, might be all in the top 10. Cardiff are definitely top. Bolton are definitely third. I think Reading won again yesterday, so Reading must be within the top 12 in the division. We've seen probably 3 of the best performances of the season, or 3 of the top ones of the season. Reading are 13th, so against teams in the top half of the table. So there's plenty of room for optimism there, and we'll come on to next week's fixtures. But you look at next week's fixtures and go, if we play like we've played in the last couple of games against the 2 teams we're playing now, it should easily be 6 points.
Yeah, great.
And then add 6 points to the total. There's no problems at all.
And that's the problem. Table. Just this league is there for the taking, and we're not taking advantage of it.
Well, it's also the inconsistency, right? Because we're saying if you play like you've played against the 2 teams you've got, then you're going to take 6 points. I guarantee you, Orient being Orient, at least one of those games there'll be some kind of slip up based on what we've seen so far this season. This team haven't won 2 games on the trot at all this season at any point, which tells you, like you said, about inconsistency and that league being there for the taking. I mean, for me, it's gone. Like I think we've said it before on this pod, we ain't making the playoffs. No,
we're not. But to your point, I think maybe last week, look at Peterborough now, with relegation zone before they.
Yeah, but
Darren Ferguson,
that was
and now they're
new blood, isn't it? That was like a new blood and a manager. Well, for us, I think we've kind of spoken before about a kind of admiration of Luke Williams.
Don't think they've had a massive turnover of squad either, so he's working with what he already had.
Absolutely, right? No, doing fantastically there.
Anyway.
Lots of views. Those were our views. Huge chunk of your views. Just because we read them doesn't mean we agree with them. Dirk Turk started it off by saying more stupidity cost us a hard-earned point against a quite frankly awful Bolton. Division was there for the taking this season, and a shame it looks like Richie isn't being backed with what he needs this January.
Sunshine LOFC kept it short and sweet. Said all that good work undone by a moment of utter stupidity from Abdullah. He has 100% cost us a point.
Garrico 7 said a good performance, but 2 mistakes have let us down. Abdullah's was moronic, and it's not the first time. He lacks the brains to improve. Time to move him on, along with Perkins. I think again we've said it numerous times. You can't just move players on under contract. Other clubs have got to kind of want these players. Abdullah's got another year and a half. Perkins has got another year and a half. Again, unless you're going to rip up contracts, which you're not doing at Orient, you're not ripping up an 18-month contract. Players will not do that. Where are they going? Like, who's taking them?
Yeah.
Like the queue, after you see Abdullah, like yesterday, you ain't going to get a queue of clubs with their hands up wanting to take this player.
I agree. I agree. His point is right, though.
He is right.
He is right, but it isn't as straightforward as going, yeah, we're going to get rid of
course,
him and
yeah.
move him on to somewhere else. Trouser Tetler said a decent performance with the game thrown away by 2 individual errors that seem to occur far too frequently. It's difficult to see how some of the players on the fringe of the team can ever expect a regular starting spot when they continue to make these mistakes. It's disappointing.
Good
Spot
for
on.
Crime to courtroom said, I thought the team really put it on Bolton a few times and we deserve more. Ballard had a poor game and surely Morehouse starts over Abdullah next week. Morehouse is rotting away on the bench.
Agree. 3 PM 31970 said players in the team who aren't good enough give both goals away. Need to get better players in the last of the window and try and ship some of those who don't feature out.
LOFC Loza said, I want Abdullah to work for us, but I feel like too many times he makes fouls or errors. We can't afford to be a nursery where players constantly aren't learning. Overall, he overplays and makes mistakes too often. A frustrating day, and we deserved a draw, at least.
Orient Dart said, if I'm Obiero, I'm absolutely raging being left out constantly for inferior players, especially Azim. That's far too many poor performances and stupid errors costing us games. He has to go.
Ian Hutchinson 08 said, not a bad performance, lacked the cutting edge, service for Ballard non-existent, but ultimately the lack of concentration and switching off in vital moments has cost us. Feels like little old Leighton Orient is creeping back. Some players are just enjoying the ride.
Marcus Maynard said the fringe players have shown very little that might make another team want to take them off our hands, so I'm not massively optimistic about the remainder of the window. That's a really good point.
Very good point there from Marcus. Orient_Ed said a very scrappy game for the most part with bits of good play. Certainly looked more fragile defensively without Forrester, but not as bad as before. Archibald had a good game, as did Backinson. But what was Abdullah thinking? He's cost us the game and let the entire club down. Get rid.
Orient Meat Pie said that was a really awful game of football. The division is awful and we're fully playing our part. We did okay for the most part, but Bolton were poor. I'm convinced that Abdullah is an agent for one of the teams down the bottom with us because he's not a serious player. Get rid.
Richie J. Bourne said if games lasted 80 minutes, we would be in the playoffs. Too many late goals, but Azim has cost us a point which will hit the team's confidence. Desperately need to beat Donny now and get some players in ASAP.
Boatsy said, don't want to out players, but you can't jump with one arm in the air and expect not to get a penalty awarded. We deserved a draw, and the moment of stupidity has cost us. Great goal by Captain Fantastic Theo, but this is the story of our season now. We need to bounce back.
Toby of Loxley showed enough signs of quality to not worry me, but Christ above, we are so bad at defending set pieces. Got to be the most homesick team in the league as well. Would have been a great point against a good team, but the 90th minute strikes again. Need to beat Doncaster.
Vince Howard 73 said deserved the point today, but mainly as Bolton looked off it. Was the quietest Ballard has been, but a cracking goal from us. As for Azim, what on earth was he thinking? Again, shown he's a good player. Loves to press the self-destruct button. Time to get rid.
Tom D Simmons _Tom said reasonable defensive showing, although stretched at times, but undone by a bizarre handball by Abdullah at the corner. What was he thinking? Still on the cusp of the relegation spots and still 2 or 3 plays short of being a decent team.
Orient Boy said 2-1 down with 10 men to go and strikers on the bench, Perkins and Koroma not brought on. It's enough said, as they are, rightly in my opinion, not considered good enough. We really need to get rid. Simply can't see any team who would want them based on their past performances.
Yeah, I think we mentioned that before. I mean, players like Koroma, he's got 2.5 years. Like, it's going nowhere. Jed _Watson. So the draw would have been a fair result, and the fact that Bolton side are third shows what a massive missed opportunity this season is going to be. I thought Ballard looked knackered and worried we're running him into the ground. Again, good point. Ballard's done another 90 minutes.
Yeah.
He's going to do another 90 minutes, you would imagine, on Tuesday, unless we're like 3 or 4-0 up, which we could be.
Yeah.
But again, you never know. It could be the other way. And then you would probably imagine he's going to get at least 70-80 against Port Vale. So yeah, good point there. Ballard never comes off.
No. Joe Jessner 16 said the performance was fine against a fairly high-flying side, and if we'd come out of that with a 1-1 draw, I think we'd all be pretty happy. Not even surprised that Abdullah has done that. The guy has absolute rocks for brains, decent technically, but nobody's home upstairs.
Stephen Orient said yet again, poorly disciplined and give away so many free kicks unnecessarily. This has got to be a coaching issue, as it's been fairly consistent since Richie took over. I think a point I was meant to make is that obviously Abdullah gets the all the criticisms, but in the build-up to kind of that corner, like we just gave the ball away, then we conceded a free kick, then we conceded the corner, and then the penalty comes from that corner, but all from conceding like possession needlessly and then giving away a silly free kick that was even debatable in the first place.
LOFC 99 said, while Beckles may be deemed surplus to requirements, he deserves more of an answer than simply no when asked if he's injured. He's been instrumental as a leader and a defender in our rise in the last 3 seasons and deserves so much more respect. That's a fair comment.
That's a good point. And like I said, I think in Rich's interview, when he goes no in that answer, there's nowhere for Dave to go with it, or Dave doesn't feel comfortable, obviously, asking a follow-up question for it, because in the way that no is so quick and so shut down before he can even go anywhere with it. So disappointing in that one, but good point. AMZ LOFC, Theo's performance should be the bench. We've said this numerous times on this pod. Theo's performance should be the benchmark for all players when playing for Orient. He's played off the park today, considering he's been out for the best part of 2. I saw a few tweets from Bolton fans about Orient's number 44, about how they wouldn't mind Orient's 44, and I thought, it's Theo Archibald. Like, they're talking about Theo Archibald. Like, if he plays, like, he's only under contract, I believe, until the end of the season. At the moment, he's going to play himself out of a deal for Orient, because some bigger club's going to look at him and go, do you know what? This kid's worth a 1 or 2 year deal. For me, I think the club. It'd be interesting, kind of what happens with Archibald if he can keep this up. You'd imagine he's a no-brainer for a 2 year, maybe even 3 year extension. Just depends whether another club gets in there first.
Yeah, agree. PC the Cali man said, how many times this season have we conceded in the 90-plus minute? Got to be upwards of 7. I reckon we would have been at least in the playoffs. It just goes to show how poor this league is.
Mystery_Bamika said, it's such a shame to lose this way. Totally unnecessary, and we deserved at least a point. We need players with skill and intelligence, but Azim has shown he doesn't have them. Theo and O'Neill had a great game, as did most of the team. On to the next one. Up the O's.
Yeah. Boggs Dollocks 1 said, I thought we was worth at least a point. 9 of that team were superb. Worked their socks off for the club. 2 horrific mistakes that cost us, and the ref missed a blatant pen on Abdullah as well. Another late goal conceded is very poor indeed. I think there is a stat floating around about we dropped 10 points and 2 cup exits after the 90th minute.
Yeah, fair. Carlos East 18. The only difference between the sides was that we were penalised for a handball in the box, whereas Bolton got away with one. Otherwise, we matched third in the league and on to Tuesday.
Prior Chris said, unlucky. Azim will get some stick, but pre-penalty he had a good first 60 minutes. It was woeful from Craig, which led to the free kick, and subsequent corner leading to the pen. Reasons for optimism, decent performance against a good team. Let's stay calm and back the boys.
Sean Slater, THFC, with a penultimate tweet on this one, said, I've said after a victory, maybe that was the catalyst. And the corner has been turned, so I'm now banning myself from them comments. I think we said that. I've said that numerous times in this pod as well. Theo scoring is yet another positive. He's come back and had such a big impact. Probably more than people could have realistically expected after what he's gone through. Don't want to put any negatives on it, so we'll just say on to the next one to put it right.
Daniel_D44 gets the final word. He says, did not deserve to lose. 2 stupid mistakes ruined an otherwise excellent team performance. Theo was excellent once again, as was O'Neill, and I thought this was Backington's best performance of the season. If we play like that for the rest of the season, we should be okay.
Yeah, great point there from Daniel, and lots of great points made. Let us know if you agree or disagree with any of the tweets that have been read out. You can do that by tweeting us. We are also on Instagram. You can find us at Orient_Outlook_podcast. You can find us at Blue Sky at Orient Outlook Podcast. You can also find us on Facebook at Orient Outlook Podcast, or you can email us. We have got 2 email addresses. We've got orientoutlook1881@gmail.com, and we've also got orientoutlook@outlook.com as well.
Yeah, we have indeed. So prediction league now. Russo 11023, Patrick G321, Strop_O, Wings Mad, Mr JG Essex, and C Vlatas. Well done to all of you who correctly predicted today's score, and you get 3 points. No one correctly predicted the scorer, so this means the top of the prediction league is as follows.
Yeah, it's all changed again with Strop_O leading away on 13 points. 1 point behind on 12 points is Ben Whitlock 13, C Vlatas and Patrick G321. And 1 point behind them on 11 points is Big TB47 and Kurt Mail. Thanks to everyone for your predictions. The full table can be found on our Facebook page, and we go again on Tuesday at 4:45 p.m.
Indeed. So, quick roundup now from what's happened on Sunday, the 25th of January. It's today as we record it. Just very quickly, while I remember, Karen from the Supporters Club has very quickly asked us to mention that on Wednesday, LOSC members who provided an email address on application should have received an email about the club AGM. Other members who did not provide an email address need to check the website for details. There are also other event details on their website. It's orientsupporters.org/events.
All right, so moving on to today, then we got a ladies update from LOFCwomen.com who said today's GLWFL away match against South London was called off for reasons unknown. That's a shame because the South Londoners were showing signs of being able to challenge us for the title. The result today would have determined whether the season was mostly done and dusted or if we have a real battle on our hands. We'll have to wait a bit longer to see how it all pans out.
Sadly, our crew showed up at Dulwich, South London's home ground, having checked the club's X account, mobile app, main website and Insta account, none of which carried the news about the game being off. Maybe there are lessons here to be learned about how the club recognises who its fans are and how it engages with them.
Fair shout there. Tooting Beck won 4-0 at Sporting Duet this afternoon, and so they return to the top of the league with a 3-point lead over the O's, but they've played 3 games more. Sporting Duet are O's visitors next week. This is the return league match after a feisty affair in December when the Orient ladies scored a 14-1 away win. So thank you to LFCwomen.com for their brief update. Before this one gets wrapped up, we're going to have a brief transfer chat. So we've sat here for the last 2 weeks, going to be all right. We'll start getting the signings in the building soon. We're going to skip forward now as we sit here on January the 25th, 25 days into the transfer window. I think we're all pretty flummoxed, I think, or out of the podcast towers about more about the inactivity of what we've seen. So obviously,
so frustrating.
We've seen Forrester come in, we've seen Casey come in, we've seen Matthews come in. Only 3 ins. We felt like we needed more. We feel like we still need more. I think it's probably fair to say, and it's all gone quiet over there.
Yeah, all four out of our 5 loans have gone back. DJ's gone out as a first team, and Phil Chinedu, who, alright, he's been on the bench. He's not a first team player. I don't think you can categorise him. Technically, he probably is, but he's not a first team player. So he's gone out on loan. So he's not really making space from that standpoint. And we have reinforced. Forrester's a good signing.
Agreed.
Obviously, he's injured. Kalen looks like he's
could be good.
Got a good potential to him. And AJ Matthews, I thought, looked quite useful for 60 odd minutes last week when he played. But yeah, look, we're sitting here and we're now 25 days in. Like, we've known what our problems are for several months now, quite how other clubs are able to do their business, and we're still sitting here rushing to do things at the end. And then it will be the excuses that will come when we do sign people over the next week, because invariably there will be some signings. Whether they'll be our 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th choice, who knows? Doesn't really matter. From that standpoint, they haven't got up to speed, or they haven't been playing, so they've got to get up to fitness. So then that's February done, and then it's only March and April, and then the season's done. So what? Why aren't we? And the question is we've got to be patient. This, and we're waiting for that one to move there so that this club can release that plan. Well, how are all the others? You look at the BBC Sport website that has a tremendous page.
The multitude of transfers going on
all the time. Not saying we want all those players or any of those players, or we might do, but they're too much for us and we can't afford this and we can't do that. Fine. But there are clubs going out there and getting the players they want. They're getting them in quickly, and they're getting them in their squads, their matchday squads, in their training sessions, to then bed them in quickly. And little old Leighton Orient are going to play the violin, with the budget, we're waiting on this big club to let that one go, to know how this one's going to go, so that under 21 can go up to that one and do that and drive there and see this and sign that, and we can't afford this one, we've got a bit of... just stop with all the excuses and all the nonsense, all the guff. Just announce the player. I know it's sitting here in your kitchen table, and it's very easy to sit here and say
let's not destroy the illusion or out of the podcast towers.
In our ivory tower. I'm not sitting here saying that it's really easy. Just phone a player up and go, we're Leighton Orient, we want you, and they go, oh, I'd love to come to you. I'm fully aware that's not how it works. We're not Real Madrid here. It just doesn't work that way. But equally, Dan McClune's been in since the summer.
I would agree on that one.
Right, he's had a plenty head start because it's not like he's just got the job and he's never done it before and therefore doesn't come with a phone book of contacts and players and those. Like AJ Matthews has come through him. He's used his network there, right? So, and that's fine. I'm all for that. If you know there's a good player that we can benefit from, let's get him in. No problem. If you've known him through your network, don't believe that's nepotism. I think that's just sensible. Getting your name out there. Why are we not going back to Spurs and getting more from Spurs? Why can't they loan us any of their top starlets that are not getting or knocking on the first team front door?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, obviously last year we had Donnelly and Keeley, who I think it's fair to say had excellent loan spells and would have increased their valuation. There's no way Keeley would have got a seven-figure move to Luton Town without his stint at Orient, and I would say similar to Donnelly going to Oxford on loan. I think to go back, Richie gave a pre-match interview on Friday. He said we've been waiting on a club. Everyone knows it's Watford. Yeah, he didn't mention Watford. Everyone knows it's Watford. Everyone knows it's James Morris, left back. I mean, how much longer do you wait for that one? Like I said, for me, it'd be good to get a left back in the door, but if we sign James Morris tomorrow night, in my eyes, James Morris wouldn't be in that team on Tuesday. You couldn't put Theo Archibald out of that team at left back. I think you'd be insane to do.
You change the setup of the team.
I don't think you would.
Well, you would if you're going to play a left back at left back.
I think if you were going to oust him, you'd be crazy. But anyway,
no, you wouldn't oust Theo Archibald.
No, but moving from left, I think that player arguably was going to be a hero of the week. He's man of the match yesterday in that position. I don't think you'd mess with him. You ain't going to take Audio O'Neill out of an attacking winging position, are you?
No.
I think for all intents and purposes, I've changed the shape to accommodate more of a left winger.
Yeah.
Anyway, we digress. James Morris. Richie also spoke about a goalkeeper who they had their eye on, who played a first team game apparently, or played a game, got injured, and now that's gone. I think
the only player
we're aware of people looking for goalkeepers who got injured,
which is the Stoke guy who they just signed from Southampton.
So that was never happening.
So it's not him.
It's not him. Yeah. So God knows who that was. So we know they're looking for a keeper, and I think Richie's gone on record. Well, he went on saying we can't keep getting loan goalkeepers. We're after a perm goalkeeper. Obviously, everyone is. I can't see them getting a perm goalkeeper. If I'm honest, I think it'd be another loan goalkeeper. If I'm brutally honest, the transfer window ends in 8 days' time, less than 8 days' time. Like you said, I think there'll be more players who come in. I think we might be waiting a bit longer. I think for me, I know you said about Matthews. I think that's too easy. I think there'll be another Millwall player coming. I don't dispute that at all. I think there's definitely going to be another Millwall player, but it's too easy. Like we said about where's your ambition? Reading are about to sign a defender from Accrington Stanley for £500,000. I don't know much about that player. I couldn't tell you what that valuation is, but I can tell you that's ambition. Lincoln going into League Two, spending a fee to get one of these Bromley defenders who's got great stats to bring him in to push their playoff charge. That's ambition. I'm not seeing it. Still not seeing it. I'm not seeing this at the moment.
It's the difference between being second in the league, unexpectedly second in the league, and being 16th in the league, isn't it? It's just
this week. Go and deliver three great quality players, and then show me some ambition. Then we can sit here next week and go, actually, Joe, what they came through. Dan McClune came through. Martin Ling, Richie Wellens, the board, they came through for us. At the moment, as we sit here, you can't say that. Like, it's impossible for us to say that. I also suspect there's going to be goings from Orient. I think you'd have to be a rocket scientist to know that Obiero's probably going on loan somewhere. There's lots of rumours about Obiero. Again, don't know why that one's taking so much time. He's not in the squad. Beckles, again, I think Beckles has probably been said, look, if you can find yourself the right deal, crack on with it. But again, whether that one happens or not, I'm not sure. But again, there'll be at least 2 or 3. But I don't want to be... It'd be horrible to be sitting here this time next week without any progress going into that Monday, because that's when you know that panic signings start to get made or you're rushing things. If we're here next week and this left back still hasn't signed or we haven't made any signings, you're like, what are you doing? What's going on?
Why is it so difficult?
I don't know. But then you know you're going to get the video from the club at 2 minutes past 7 saying about what they've done and what their policy was.
Yeah.
Explaining it. So I think it's fair to hear the frustration in us here. Like you said, we knew what was needed. We've known what was needed for ages. Teo Ademirola was bought off on the 20th of December at home to Bradford in the 30th minute. At that point, we had no left back. We knew we had no left back. And it's the 25th of January.
So it's a month ago.
Yeah. We've played League One fixtures with no substitute goalkeeper because we don't have 3 goalkeepers in the squad at the moment as it stands. Tommy Simkin went back on New Year's Day 25 days ago.
Yeah. I know. I'm so like.
It's baffling.
I feel like I'm so over this now. It's just
baffling.
like it's unbelievable. It's almost, it feels incompetent. But I don't know. Like, I don't know enough about this to like what, because we're not privy to any of this. To know what's gone wrong and who we've gone after, and are we aiming too high? And whether I don't know what to think anymore. Like it's
Well, it's just been a whole bunch of, you get Richie 1 week going, we need experience, and then you go and sign 2 kids.
Two
you
kids,
get Richie
100%.
going. If you think we're getting our first or second choice, is you're delirious, or it was something along those lines, then you're going to have to reassess who your first and second choices are. Like, ultimately, but again, without the inside knowledge that no one has, it's very difficult to kind of sit here and give an honest assessment. We can only say it as we see it from the outside, and from the outside, it just looks like nothing's progressing. Yeah. Nothing's happening. So very frustrated. We'll do this again next week. We'll see where we're at. So 1 hour, 10 minutes, 31 seconds. It's time to wrap up this bad boy.
Yeah, we'll start with fantasy football. Nicholas Kraft is top of the Orient Outlook Podcast Fantasy Premier Football League. He's got 1,388 points, 20 ahead of Chad Michael in second place. Steve's doing all right in 122nd. Out of 397.
All right, T. Cornwall leads the way in the Orient Outlook Podcast Fantasy EFL Football League. He's on 2,032 points. He's 69 points ahead of a blower in second place. I'm in 11th place. I've fallen down 1. Paul was in 34th place.
Up 2.
Out of 65 players. Well done, Billy Legende. Double game week as well.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens with that one.
Happens.
All right.
Let's do the positives and the negatives then.
2 positives, because we're not all negative here on Outlook Podcast Towers. First up, Theo Archibald's goal. Lovely goal.
Yeah.
Performance all round. Just an utter superb performance. And secondly, Caelan Casey's full debut. Didn't look out of place. Good signing.
Yeah.
Good signing
really
for
good.
the most part. Just need more of them and a bit more experience in there, please.
So far, so good. The negatives fall to me then, of which there are more, obviously. The defeat to Bolton, not the performance, but just the defeat.
Yeah.
Obviously, still no signings, as we've just really said, or not enough signings, as we've just discussed. The injuries are obviously a problem. We're missing Elmirs, we're missing Connolly, and we're still missing, well, Reg is done for the season, but it's important.
So I think to add more to that, so that Forrester probably not playing again this week. And obviously he would have walked into the first team this week. Claire, who started to show a bit more about him, injured. Richie said he might be back for Doncaster if he plays.
Yeah.
I presume he probably comes in, if he's fit, comes in for Abdullahi. But like I think Crime to Courtroom said, do you bring Morehouse in for him? I don't think you do. For me, the interesting one, not to skip too far ahead on Donny, is you go, do you know what, we're going to get bottom. They're near the bottom. Their defensive record's not great. Do you go and play 2 up top and take the game to them? Do you put Matthews in and go, all right, let's see what they got, and let's see how many goals we can put on a plate for Ballard. So we'll see on that one. But sorry to get off there. That was injuries. I think you got one more negative
and
left.
The negativity around the fan base, really. It's just frustrating.
It's a lot.
We've been spoilt recently in the last 7 or 8 years of how well we've done, and we've always seemed to have progressively signed better players throughout the window. We've, Kent's mantra and Nigel's mantra was always we sign next level ready players. We are now playing with a significantly higher wage budget, but we don't seem to be getting the calibre and quality that belies that budget. We're up to £6 million on our wage budget. I don't see that there's £6 million worth of talent running around every single game, trying their best, doing their best, working their hardest, making the best decisions. Because if they were, then we wouldn't have dropped 10 points. We'd be in the sort of towards the playoff end of the table rather than the relegation end of the table, and it would be a very different story.
Yeah, I mean,
simple as that.
We're almost there, aren't we? Like there are green shoots of hope spinning out, but to go back to your negativity around the fan base, there's lots of argument, I'd say, on social media of some people having views, and I guess the thing to kind of remember is we all want one and the same. Yeah. It's all the same fan base. So, hero of the week. I mean, you could go Caelan Casey. Unlucky not to win this because making his full debut, but again, only ever going to be one for us on Outlook Podcast Hours this week. Hero of the week. Theo Archibald, well done, son. So like we've said, it's a double game week for the O's coming up next week. First up, we are going to Donny Rovers this Tuesday, the 27th of January, and the Richie Wellens derby again.
Yeah.
Donny, 22nd in League One. They drew 3-0 at home to Wigan this weekend. They were 3-0 up within the first 55 minutes. I think first hour, 3-0. When we played them at Agath, we slaughtered them. Ballard had them on toast. I think Ballard's first hat-trick for us? I think Ballard absolutely spanked them. So we go there, should be full of confidence. In their last 6, they've only won 1, drawn 2, lost 3. Hopefully we go there, we take the game to them, we get a good morale-boosting victory. But it'll be difficult. It's going to be a cold, horrible Tuesday night in Doncaster. They'll be looking at this going, do you know what? They've conceded the most goals in League One when they're talking about us. Let's go for them, boys. Could be goals in this one, but I think if we don't win this one and we don't make a signing tomorrow, which I don't think we will, I think you might see a real negative fan base if we don't win this one.
Rightly, you shouldn't be losing to Doncaster, and then we're away at Port Vale the following week.
Home.
Sorry, we're home to Port Vale the following week.
Don't go away to Port Vale because you'll go and it'll be an empty ground and you'll look rather foolish. Although it's going to be difficult to get to Port Vale because the central line's down.
Yes. So get there early because you need a good parking spot.
All right, they're bottom. They are bottom of League One. They lost 3-1 at home to Exeter. In their last 6, they've won 1 and lost 5. They're really struggling in this one. We went to Port Vale. We won there earlier in the season 3-2 with that late Charlie Wellens goal, which was a great victory. Yeah. So 2 more than winnable games for Orient. Like I said, if we win these 2, next week's podcast it becomes really optimistic. We'll be higher than 16th in the table. So again, we'll have all that.
Never get too high with the highs or too low with the lows. It's just frustration at this point.
I know, but when you do a weekly podcast, that's all you can do.
Yeah, it's true.
Ultimately. Right, if you're going to either game, have a safe journey. Give us a tweet at any point to complete your match day experience.
And a sponsorship reminder, don't forget to get in touch with John and their fabulous team of experienced florists. Call them on 0208 529 4130 or get in touch with them via socials on Carol Langley E4 or Essex Biz on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook. It's Carol Langley Florist.
All right, so that is it. Thanks for joining us for episode 417. It was a quieter week than we would have liked off the pitch with no new arrivals and 2 departures. Whilst on the pitch, it was almost a valuable point at Bolton Wanderers, but as the story has been too many times this season, a mistake gifted our host a win to leave the O's stuttering in League One. And this week promises to be busier with 2 fixtures against teams in the bottom 3 and 2 wins would cheer the mood with the fan base and gets heading in the right direction. But 2 losses would see us fall further down the table. I mean, if we lose the next 2, God knows what's going to happen. With transfer deadline day looming, we're all hoping for a few more arrivals and would expect a few more departures, and we look forward to talking about these in the next episode of the Orient Outlook podcast.
If you're listening on iTunes, please subscribe, give the podcast a 5-star rating. If you're listening on Spotify, don't forget you can rate the show and even leave a comment on each episode, so please do so if you get the chance. Don't forget to follow us, add us to your favourites on your chosen podcast provider. That way you'll get all the episodes as soon as they're available. We're also on smart speakers, we're on the Fan Hub app, we're also on YouTube, so listening to the podcast has never been easier. If you've got an older relative, a loved one, an Orient chum who you think will like the podcast, someone with a passing interest in Orient, please help them, grab their phone for them, download it and pass the pod. Quick reminder about buymeacoffee.com/Orient Outlook.
Lovely stuff. All right, we'll be back with episode 418 next week with all the information and views that you could ever need. We look forward to hearing from you. And as always, keep calm, stay safe, have a great week, and listen to the Orient Outlook podcast.
Up the O's.